Hello, Maverick traders, and welcome out to your daily currency recap. This is Songit here, and let's break down today's market price action. It's a Wednesday, January the 24th. Quite an exciting day today, so let's get into it. Take a look at broader market analysis, take a look at really what's moving in the markets, take a look at currency baskets, and talk about possible setups ahead. Let's get into it.
Disclaimer. This video was created for professional stock and option traders. Maverick Trading is a proprietary trading firm that employs professional traders around the world. Our traders trade firm capital and keep 70 to 80% of profits they generate. All trades and analysis in this video are for professional traders only. If you are interested in becoming a professional trader for Maverick, click the apply button in the video description. Let's break down what happened today.
So looking at the market analysis today, let's get into it. Let's start with the headlines. Today was an active day because we had two-part move. At the beginning, we had equities market really strong, the bond market weak, and the dollar being really weak. And everything really changed after some strong U.S. economic data. We had the ISM Manufacturing and Services PI number. That really caused that big move because that was strong. Why strong data is right now very important, because again, that is what's driving the expectation for the central bank to either raise rates, which again, not even in the question right now, but it's more about cutting rates. I talk about in the currency room over the weekend that right now we are seeing this big expectation for rate cuts coming in March, which I think is too early. Now, when this strong economic data happens, it means there's not likely to be any rate cut. Those expectations comes down. Those traders that are getting ahead of that trade sort of scale back, and that's why we see this sort of a reversal in the move. So really, that's really the big theme was today in the markets. Let's take a look at the percentage change. Now, if you take a look at the percentage change, you'll notice that, well, it was not really a big moving day because, we have 0.3, 0.13, 0.08, again, small moves percentage-wise. But no, if you take a look at the intraday movement, that's where you'll find that today was sort of a big day where the Aussie was really strong in the morning, TV was strong in the morning, and they both reversed. CAD was weak, but then it stayed weak after Bank of Canada raised statement, which again did not make any change to their policy. Euro and pound, euro was a little stronger, pull back. The only thing that really stays strong was the Swiss franc. And remember, Swiss franc is sort of flip-flopping. It was really strong, then it was really weak, and it's just one of the currencies that's really hard to figure out because it's not really following any sort of any correlation. It's just kind of doing its own thing. Now the US dollar, even though it ended the day a little bit negative, but today, earlier in the day, overnight, dollar was much weaker. So that was again a win for the dollar as it reversed some of the losses. Now the Japanese yen, outside of that, stays strong. Again, yen does well, as we know, when the dollar does weak. So there's a negative correlation there, and we saw the yen kind of did well there. But again, we saw some rebalancing when things sort of reverse in today. Now, taking a look at the equity markets, you can see equity markets looks like S&P closely flat. So the VT was up, crypto was down, and again, gold was down and oil was up. But one of the things to highlight is that even though S&P says, well, it was only a flat day, whenever you get a big move and it reverses, now that is a weak move, or sort of a weak close. That's where we are. We had a weaker close towards the end of the day, which I believe is going to spill over into the market sentiment in the next 24 hours. Now, taking a look at the crypto markets, again, one of the things that we find some currencies to hard to figure out is the Bitcoin Cash. But outside of that, if you take a look at Bitcoin, stays weak. Ethereum stays weak. Again, crypto markets is kind of lost that momentum that was in. So I think the crypto market's really working in momentum. You want to ride that along with the momentum is strong. But as soon as the momentum finishes, you will need to be on the sideline. That's really where we are in the crypto markets. Now, let's take a look at a market outlook. This is where you have a two-part outlook. If you just stick with the daily trends, there's nothing to change. We're still at a +3. But if you take a look at the price of the candlestick today, now that is not a strong candle. So this is where traders can do either things. Either you stay out, let the pullback happen, retest, and maybe buy into that. But again, remember you're playing the waiting game there. Or you can play that down move, especially if it's a continued weakness overnight and tomorrow. So overall, if you are a trend trader, you don't want to, you want to wait for the pullback to finish. if you are a short-term trader or a swing trader, we can take advantage of some shorter-term pullback, especially based on the close today. So let's see what happens tomorrow. Let's see if the buyers come in at all. But just going with the market close today, it looks like a weaker close to me. Now, if you take a look at the schedule here, let's go back here.
Do you want to be a professional trader? Maverick Currencies is the oldest US-based Forex and crypto prop trading company that will pay you for trading with our capital. Trade our capital and keep 70 to 80% of the profits. We are looking for traders just like you that are hardworking and motivated. Click the apply link on the top right of this video to see if you have what it takes. That link takes you to a 4-minute video that explains the trader position available, and you read a list of FAQs that answer pretty much all the basic questions you have at this point. After watching the video and reading the FAQs, if you're interested, fill out an application, then you'll watch the full-length recruiting video, and then schedule an interview with one of our traders. Are you our next trader?
Now, let's take a look at the schedule here. As you can see, we have a heavy second half of the week with data. We had CPI from New Zealand yesterday. Again, not higher than expected. It was in line. Outside of that, we had some data from the Eurozone. You can see that in the Eurozone, the data was kind of mixed. The Euro flash manufacturing PMI versus the services. We saw some services number weaker, but manufacturing was stronger. So it was really a mixed report. Now take a look at the US number. Above 50. That's pretty good. Services, 52. So numbers are looking better out of the US. Economy is doing well. And again, that is going to keep the Fed a bit on the sideline, especially all this expectation for rate cuts starting in March, which I just think is too soon. Maybe later in the year, maybe not. But I think it's just the amount of pricing in that we are seeing is pretty aggressive. As we go to tomorrow, we have the ECB rate statement. Again, they're likely to hold at 4.5%. But the big thing is, what do they say in the statement? Right now, the central banks are not really helping the currency because, again, they're not being aggressively or on the hawkish side. They're more on the sidelines, a little bit dovish. That doesn't really help a currency. We saw the same thing play out with the Canadian dollar this morning. Again, no changes, but we had a big move. But that's, again, because whatever is said in the statement spill over into the currency to move lower or higher. We also had, along with the euro, we had some of the data from the US. That's the US GDP and unemployment claims. So I, at this point, really like to watch these economic data reports because these are the ones that cause the move. And if you just, plan your trades around it, or if you're going to trade and you just be active around it, again, those pays off because you can either get out of a position sooner if it's going against you, or you can catch some nice movements off of that. So again, that's really where the catalysts come from. Now, let's just jump into our currency analysis. Let's start with where the velocity score is. You can see that velocity score today was the Swiss franc was a +2 and CAD is a -2. So CAD Swiss franc really was the best pair today. Outside of that, like I said, the velocity score is really off the chart because dollar, it was really -2, -1 early in the day, and it turned out to be 0. We had the euro, it was on the right side, it came back. Kiwi was a little bit stronger and came back. And Aussie was right in the middle and came back as well. So there's a lot of shifting that happened during the day. But what I'm really looking forward to is how the market closed today, how the currencies closed today, and just use that and look for follow-through moves. So let's just jump into possible trades and take a look at some good setups here. And looking at the charts here, so you can see the market looks weak. So let's see how the currencies are looking on the charts here. You can see that the USD did pull back and just sort of rises there a little bit. So it looked a lot bearish this morning, and now it's back in the range. So I haven't said that before. I think if you just take a look at the daily chart, the dollar is not that weak. It was looking weak earlier. It was in a base. We had a nice little tail to that candle today. I would possibly want to see a sort of a breakout off the high base. Same thing happened here. Remember the consolidation period? These are the periods that you want to be very careful about. These are the areas that you don't want to be jumping too much out of the range. But once you see a break, a clear break, that's where you get to move. Like over here, we got 3 upside candles, and those are good percentage candles. So that's really what we are seeing here in the USD. In the Japanese yen, you can see that even though it had a nice day today, it's still a negative on the daily chart. So not looking to buy the yen, looking to short the yen on the rallies. And here's a little puzzling currency is the Swiss franc. You can see that it was sort of in this range. It was looking weak. I wanted to get short on this, and with this candle today, I'm on the sideline for the Swiss franc. And on the contrary side, we have the euro, which again did not take part on that move, especially what we saw in the euro in the Swiss franc. This is still going sideways. Tomorrow, remember, we have the ECB rate statement. We had a big fall over here. Even though it's rising, it's not really going anywhere. So I am more in the neutral zone for the euro. But depending on what happens tomorrow, I'll be able to shift that needle bullish or bearish. But most likely, if it does break lower, especially this parabolic SAR, I want to be bearish. Now, the British pound, what is it doing? It's going sideways, high base. Don't really want to be part of those moves. Look at this, the Canadian dollar here. We got excited for CAD because we had a nice breakout. With this candlestick today, we are back in the range. So I think we probably see some sideways movement here, especially after the big sort of a fall today. We might have had some little bear rallies in there, but now this currency is back in the range bound there. Now the Aussie, even though it was starting out the day nicely, but look at that. The trend stays intact. Bear rallies are what we want to be shorting into. And on daily chart, Aussie dollar, or just the Aussie basket, looks like a bear rally to me. So that's something that we want to be short in this one on every rally. Taking a look at the Kiwi is deviating a little bit from this relative strength weakness, especially comparing to the Aussie. But overall, it still looks weak to me. This is the range that we were in. We did bounce a little bit here. We're staying weak. So stick with the currencies that are trending, and stick with the currencies that are underperforming, and just use that accordingly. I don't want to be buying the Aussie. Don't want to be buying the Kiwi, because what happened is weaker currency, even though they're bouncing, they will reverse much faster than a strong currency will pull back. And that's just the way it is. I mean, take a look at the euro. It did not pull back. It did pair some gains today, but it just didn't fall apart. But if you take a look at the Aussie today, let's go on a short-term chart. You can see that the Aussie was doing really well, and then boom, right there. And now it's sitting at the lows of the day today. So those are the ones that looks the weakest to me. Now, based on what we just looked at, let's take a look at some of the possible setups. Dollar yen, I want to buy this dip here. On the daily chart, looks good. On the 4-hour chart, it's kind of still below this parabolic SAR here. I want to see if it just really rally or start to rally a little bit here. Again, 15-minute chart looks nicely here, especially if it does break out. It's making a high base. Remember, on a daily chart, this is still a bit of a pullback to me. I want to be buyer on the dollar yen, especially with this move today. If the dollar stays strong overnight, you want to be part of that move. Now, if you take a look at some of the other pairs, dollar CAD, based on this move, I really like dollar CAD on the long side here. CAD is the weakest today, and dollar is looking strong. So dollar CAD looks good here for me. Where do I want to get long? It's just a matter of your holding period. We are right at the resistance level, 35.40 area. Along above that exposes the area for 136, 137. So that's the area that I like. I think we'll probably see continuation over there. We also have the euro tomorrow with the ECB. So I really like the euro dollar, especially if the euro stays weak. I mean, take a look at this little parabolic SAR. Take a look at the moving average here. This is the daily chart. You can see that we're getting wicks. As long as it stays below this 13-day exponential moving average, I like this further to the downside, especially as a first target at 107.50, which we weren't there too long ago. Now, the pound dollar, don't want to touch it. It's still pretty staying strong. Aussie dollar, daily chart, looks kind of weak. And look at the Kiwi dollar. So overall, chart-wise, the Aussie dollar, the dollar CAD, the dollar yen, and possibly euro dollar. Those are one of my favorites here. I would like everyone to sort of keep in mind what the daily trend is doing and, trade accordingly. Right now, we just, if you get any rallies, again, those are the areas you want to get short into, and those trades are continuing to work over and over. So always keep an eye on that big picture. So in conclusion, market looks weak for the day. Let's see what happens tomorrow. A lot of times you can see one or the other. You get a big sort of a reversal candle for the day, and the next day either the buyers come in and sort of reverse that move, or there's no buyers coming in and it just continues to go lower. One or the other. We'll see what happens tomorrow. like I said, this is why some of the trend traders don't want to take part in this move, because strong market bounce faster. A weak market reverse fast. I mean, that's just the way it works. The opposite move get erased pretty quickly depending on how strong or weak the market is. Outside of that, the ECB rate statement tomorrow, we'll keep an eye on it. We had the Bank Canada this morning. I know some traders got some good trades there, so great job. We'll see if we can replicate that with the ECB tomorrow. Outside of that, play relative strength and weakness. Stay focused. Again, this is the markets where it's moving in pockets. I've said that before. Be active, the day's moving, and be inactive when things are not moving. And if the data is what's driving the move, then you need to either cut your losses early, or if you're looking for a trade, and maybe those are the great opportunities to jump back into those trades. So that's the outlook for next 24 hours. We'll keep you guys posted. Have a good evening, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.